which to the left means that Elon is the devil. And when you battle the devil, just like when you battle Hitler, there are no rules. So targeting the devil's dealings is totally appropriate. Therefore, the rash of attacks on Tesla vehicles and dealerships across the country for the past 50 days is warranted. Even when it's arson fires, shots fired, vandals, thieves, and protesters, and when President Trump defended Elon by saying, quote, "You do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, you're going to go through hell." Of course, the media, the fine people on both sides, bloodbath, suckers and losers, make it up as you go along media, took out the words any company and is now accusing Trump of boosting Tesla stock. The very same liberal media that says any violence against Tesla is not terrorism. It's protected, it's protesting, it's peaceful, and Elon is totally to blame. Common sense finds it interesting that violence by the right is always attacking democracy. Violence by the left is always backing democracy.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist, you show up at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th with the intent to overturn a fair and free election, and you get a pardon.
You're either with the Tesla or you're with the terrorists. That's one way to try to stabilize an oligarch's business empire.
It is illegal to use federal property the way Donald Trump and Elon Musk used federal property today, and neither one of them know it.
I don't know who he thinks is buying Teslas, but I can guarantee you that they're out of reach, many of them, for the average Trump voter.
Well, Democratic allies in the liberal media have been widely supportive of recent, sometimes violent attacks on Tesla dealerships and vehicles. Let's bring in political commentator and former Democrat Natalie Beisner, along with the Federalist election correspondent, Brianna Lyman. Thank you both for coming on. So you kind of heard the run-up to that, Natalie. What they're saying is, if I get the theme properly, is that the left doesn't want to buy Elon's cars and the deplorables just simply can't afford Elon's cars.
Yeah, I hope they keep this up. I hope they keep framing MAGA as the party of the working class and the Democrats as the party of the out-of-touch elites, because that's part of why Donald Trump won. They keep calling him only for the millionaires and the billionaires, right? But then they go around and say, oh, they can't even afford Teslas. And they keep mocking everything that's happening to Tesla, stocks down, sales down, the violence and vandalism. And yet they want us to buy electric vehicles. They don't want us to buy electric vehicles. They claim that Elon Musk is in this to enrich himself, and yet his stock is down. It doesn't really make any sense at all. It's hard to take the Democrats seriously.
And the people who, by the way, make the cars that they're protesting are American workers, American middle-class workers. Meantime, Scott Jennings on CNN, at least, he had some common sense on this. Brianna, watch.
If I were advising a Republican president, I would say, let's support American companies that have thousands of American workers and thousands more workers who make indirect products for it. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea if American companies did well under my vision.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and support a billionaire, but not support the American worker, and not necessarily...
Who do you think makes Teslas, Sochi? American workers.
Yeah, stole my point. American workers are the ones they want to punish on this thing, Brianna.
Yeah, they want to punish American workers, and they also want to punish American people, because the montage you played in the beginning of people calling the violent attacks on Tesla a protest, they want to normalize political violence, and the best way to do that is through speech. If you can convince Americans that political violence is equivalent to First Amendment protected free speech, you legitimize that political violence, and you encourage it to happen again. It's the same way in 2020 they told us that the Black Lives Matter riots were fiery but mostly peaceful protests that also led to the murder of David Dorn and, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. So what the left is doing is they're trying to use Elon Musk as a scapegoat to normalize political violence and desensitize Americans to that political violence by making him the big, bad, scary guy.
Meantime, next we have Rosie O'Donnell in Ireland.